I think we're always starting on time. Yeah, almost 7 o'clock. Tony, I want to say hello and thank you very much for taking the time in these challenging times. As we spoke before, Dubai is on a 24-hour lockdown. And so I reached out to my cycling friends around the world, and you're the first one. And so thank you very much for taking the time. And how is it in Switzerland where you're now? Is there a lockdown, or what's the situation?
Yeah. First of all, thank you, Wolfi. I'm also proud to be a guest of your talk show. And to my situation here in Switzerland, it's actually a quite okay situation for us. I mean, I can't race all over the world, but at least I'm able to train in Switzerland. We are really free to go everywhere where we want. So I'm almost every day on the bike outside and enjoy the good weather. What's at the moment here in my place.
Very good, very good. I've been into your Instagram and I went through some of the pictures, and I saw the first picture was 2016 Dubai tour. I think that you had some good memories for Dubai tour in 2016.
Yeah, it was I think the first Dubai tour, and it was amazing. It was also a big adventure for me to come to Dubai, to see all this great buildings, to see this great place in the desert. It's still, when I come to Dubai, I still think it's insane. It's unbelievable what people can build, and it was a really nice experience. And I always like to come back to Dubai, and actually I'm almost every year I'm in Dubai.
Very good. But that was not the first time in Dubai. I think you had a special first trip to Dubai when you were invited to open the cycle track, and I think you had a special race opponent during that time. Can you tell the listeners a bit more about that?
Yeah, it was really a special moment for me. I was welcome to open the cycle track in Dubai, and actually the race was against the horse. So there was a really good and fast horse, and I think we competed around 1K against each other, and was super special. It was in the night, so you just had the flashlights there, and we were there around the cycle path, and I didn't know what to expect, and we were standing there on the line, and I don't have any experiences with horses, so I didn't know how fast they are. So I would say right from the start, I thought, okay, maybe I have a small chance because I was starting a bit faster than the horse, but I think after 100 meters, the horse catched me, and then I was just riding in the dust of the horse, so I never saw it again. So I really lost the race by far, but it still was a really nice experience, what I always remember.
Very good, fantastic. Just going back to the beginning of your career, who was your person who introduced you to cycling, or what are your first memories or the first inspiration for your own career when you started cycling?
Actually, I started cycling together with my dad. He was a former amateur racer, and he brought me to cycling. It was always my wish to get a job in sports. First of all, I wanted to get a famous football player, but actually I was not good enough, so I switched to cycling, and my dad was my partner to train with me, and he gave me this spirit for cycling, and that was a really nice experience for me. And then after I switched to sports school, I got there a lot of friends, and I had a great way up to pro scene. I was lucky to start with Team HGC in my first professional year, or let's say it was Team High Road first of all, and then Columbia, then HGC. And this first 4 years were unbelievable for me. The team gave me a lot of experience, a lot of fun in cycling, a lot of knowledge that I still can use now in this current times. So I have to say, was a really wonderful way from amateur rider to the pros.
Very good. This team was a real superpower in cycling. I remember, and I was obviously very happy because we were riding Scott bikes at that time. And it was a real inspiring movie as well, this Chasing Legends. And if anyone hasn't seen that movie, it's from 2009 about the Tour de France. And there's some really epic scenes. And I think for me, it was really one of the most inspiring movies in cycling I've ever seen, because it was just kind of showing the spirit the team had and how you work together. And I remember when you broke away in this team time trial situation in the Normandy. How was that on that day? I heard the radio was going. They were saying, okay, everyone to the front. Now it's time to go. And then you had to go for 80 or 90 kilometers in a team time trial situation.
Yeah, it was really, the day was endless. And when I remember right, it was not this one moment like it's normal in the crosswind where you just take it on surprise and take the lead and break the peloton. Was more or less, we started halfway to the finish, and it was not really crosswind, but still I think was really, really hard on the back of the peloton. And I think every 10K we lost, let's say 10 riders in the peloton. They dropped step by step, and okay, then was one special corner, and then we went really all in, and then we also dropped more or less the rest of the peloton. And it was really one of the best team efforts I ever did with the team. And I think Kev won at the end, when I remember right. And yeah, it was just amazing. It was real team effort. Yeah.
I have never seen this again, and I don't remember that it ever happened again, that a group of 9 riders in that time was in one group and just went ahead and broke everything apart, really shattered the whole peloton.
Yeah, I think our team was just special. I would compare it maybe with Quick Step. In these days, so when you see them all together, you know it's going to be a hard situation now. And I think we were one of the first teams who also created this spirit, this team spirit, stay together, be just better together, be stronger together, be faster together. And I think Rolf Aldag was actually the key player. Even he was not riding the bike, but he was in the car, and he gave us so much morale and team spirit. That we were just by the team spirit, we were stronger than everybody else.
Okay, Rolf is one of the riders I reached out to as well to get him on the podcast and on Wolfi's talk. So I think we're going to hear some good stories from him as well in the next couple of days.
For sure.
Yeah,
some good stories. Yeah.
So is this the time when you gained the name Panzerwagen, or who gave you the name Panzerwagen, which means armored vehicle? If people don't really know, German name for a really, really special car with all the armor. So how did you get that name?
Actually, I don't know if it was in the HEC times or then further on in Quickstep times, but for sure, Brian Holm gave me the nickname. I think he's a bit into, he's interested in the history and in the world wars. And when he saw me, when he saw the way I'm riding, he always compared me to a Panzerwagen. So that means like a wagon who's almost not able to stop. And that's also a bit of my character, or also a bit of the way I'm riding my bike. So he gave me this nickname in the team meetings. Like Mark Renshaw was always Prince Harry because he looked like this. So I was Panzerwagen, and Berg Krapsch was Luftwaffe. And somehow the international medias get to know this nickname. And then I think there was a Danish media who got it first, and then they also called me in their broadcast Panzerwagen. And then somehow it got all over the world. And then on some moment I was, for the fans, more the Panzerwagen than Tony Martin. And actually it's really funny, and I'm also proud of it because I think this characteristics of the Panzerwagen also suits me well. So it's a nice nickname.
Yes, I like it as well. Very good. Obviously, you have been multiple times world champion in time trial, Olympic silver medalist, and everything you can achieve in this area. What do you think is why is this such a big part for your cycling, that you're alone on a bike and you can just ride as fast as you can when nobody else can keep up with you. What's happening in your head? What do you think while you're riding?
Yeah, maybe it's also the reason that I'm so strong there is maybe also the reason why I'm the Panzerwagen, because when I have something in my head, I really give everything for it. I fight till the end. I'm actually a hard worker, and yeah, when I know here's the start and there's the finish, I try to go so deep that I really can say at the end it was the maximum I could bring at this day. And somehow I also like to be alone on the bike and yeah, have this pure competition. There's no slipstream. There are no real tactics. There's no other contenders where you can play maybe games like you see sometimes in the races. So there's just yeah, the race where normally the strongest will win. So that's the most purest race I can imagine. I just like it, and maybe that's why I'm also so strong in this discipline.
Fantastic. And if you go for a team time trial, do you think your colleagues they like you, or they rather swear at you when you're riding and you're pushing in the front? They tell you to slow down. They're happy that they have you because this will just raise the average speed. Or when you speak afterwards, or you have to sit alone in at dinner after the team time trial, or they still have you as a teammate?
I think 7 of 8 guys are happy that I'm in the team. Maybe the one who's not so happy is the one who has to ride in front of me, because when he has to come out of his lead and go to the back of the team, I'm in the front, so he have to suffer again. But actually, I know the discipline team time trial really well, and I also know that the guy who's the strongest in the team, and mostly it's me, has to support the team and not try to show that he's the strongest and try to yeah, flick the others. So when I'm in the team, I always try to make really long leads, also not to accelerate too fast or yeah, to go too fast, because I know the others are suffering even more than me on my wheel. And yeah, I think most of the guys really like me in the team, and also for them in the head, it's good to know that I'm there, because normally I make the team stronger and we can also fight for the win.
You had a fantastic win, Tour de France 2019 with Jumbo Visma. I think that was a fantastic performance with you and the team. So who is your teammate in Jumbo Visma with whom you stay in a room when you win the team?
Normally it's Primož Roglič.
Ah, very good.
Yeah, actually my first race was also last year, the UAE Tour, and yes. Somehow the team decided that I could be a good roommate for him, because I'm also more or less a silent guy. I don't make too much trouble, and Primož as well. And actually we started together in UAE in the room, and since then we always continued to be together in the room. Even in the Vuelta we were together when he won. So yeah, I think we like each other. We also are two equal characters, I would say. So it's really nice to be with them in the room.
Very good. And who's the best person to be around in the peloton or in your team? Who is the most fun guy, or what is the? You have some stories from the peloton?
Who's the best? Good question. I think I really like it with George Bennett when he's in the race, because he always tells some good stories. Okay. But yeah, actually it's always nice. I really feel super welcome in the team with everybody. I really have to say there are no groups where you maybe feel not welcome. It's just a nice relationship with everybody in the team. So whenever I'm away, I'm happy in the team.
Very good. What language is spoken in the peloton? Is it normally English, or you speak Spanish, Italian, or French, or what languages do you speak?
You mean in the team or in the peloton?
No, in the peloton.
English.
English. Okay.
Yeah. English is the most spoken language. luckily there are also a lot of German riders, so mostly in every race I also can speak German to a lot of guys. And in the team, actually, the team language is Dutch. So I also had to learn a bit Dutch, or I liked to learn a bit Dutch. So yeah, it's going more or less well. I can understand it. Speaking is difficult for me, but yeah, you're never too old to learn also different things.
At the moment, obviously, a lot of people in Dubai have to train indoors. Do you spend a lot of time indoors? I know you have a very special device in a room. I saw in a report once where you have a big roller, a free roller in some sense, but that's a very specific tool you use for training. Do you spend a lot of time on the rollers or indoors?
Yeah, I have a special belt. It's really big. It's so big that it doesn't suit in my house, so I had to rent a special room for it. And it's like a running belt where you also can change the
incline.
Yeah, exactly. And you can write your own programs. And I bought it a few years ago, and actually I bought it for the winter time. So when it snows here in Switzerland, I'm always free to go on the bed. It's really super realistic. It's more realistic than going on just on the rollers. But somehow I have the feeling, since I have the bed, it doesn't snow anymore in Switzerland. So we have such good weather that I actually don't really need it anymore. But that's actually fine for me, because I think everybody knows, whoever was on the rollers, that the time runs slower than when you're outside. So yeah, I think it's really hard to go more than 2 or 3 hours on the rollers or on the belt.
And if you're there, you're watching a movie, you're watching a series, podcast, or you're just concentrating on and focusing on your training?
I tried it with movies or some YouTube videos, but I realized that really just music gives me most of the energy. So really mostly I just make a nice playlist and go just with music on, and then time runs so fast.
So what's on your playlist? What's your favorite tune right now?
People always ask me, and I never have a question answer. Sorry, because I'm so open for everything. So I think mostly on the bike, maybe I hear maybe techno, faster things, maybe also a bit rock. But I'm really open for everything. Also, I like hip hop, R&B. So I'm really open to everything.
Very cool. Let me see. A special day or a normal day for you when it comes to training? Would you when you're at home, you wake up early, you go riding early, or would you rather wait for the afternoon? So how would a normal day start for you while you're now kind of in a preparation for the season?
Yeah, it's a bit different from day to day. It depends on if my daughter goes to kindergarten or not. When she goes to kindergarten, the day starts quite early, let's say at 7 o'clock, because she has to go at 8 to kindergarten. Then I'm also take my breakfast, and then I'm around 9:30 on the bike. And actually, that's also what I like, to start early and then to be early back. So when I start at 9, 5 hours, you're back at 2 o'clock and still have almost the whole day to do different things. What is actually really nice. But when she's not in kindergarten, maybe at the weekend, I also enjoy just to sleep a bit longer with her, take time with her, and don't be so stressed like on a normal day. And then maybe I just start on at sometimes 11 o'clock. Okay, then I'm a bit later back, but that's also fine. So I also enjoy the more easy mornings. Sometimes I really also celebrate breakfast, because breakfast is for me the most important meal at the day. And I like it also really relax in the morning.
Very good. I was thinking about any great sports person you outside cycling you would have liked to meet, or you met already and you were very impressed about this person?
Actually, I'm not so into famous other persons, I have to say.
Yeah.
I'm really concentrated on my own, on my family.
Nice.
But I'm not so interested. If you would ask me which person I would really like to get to know is my grandpa, who died before I get born. That's maybe a person, or that's for sure a person that I really would like to get to know, because everybody said he was a great person, and I never had the chance to get him to know. But other sports person, it's nice, like in the Olympic Games, you see so many different sports persons. That's really cool in the dining hall when you see the 100 or 1,000 sportlers that are also doing 110% for their sports and being also nervous like you are before the race or before the game. That's really interesting, but there's not really one special person I would like to get to know.
Very good. Are you working on your bike yourself, or you have a mechanic who is with you, or you do some work on your own bike?
I have to say I'm really amateur in repairing or building bikes. I think I have some basic knowledge, and when I have problems, I also know how to help me. So maybe watching also YouTube videos and see somebody who can show you the things you want to do. But for the real hard problems, I really need a mechanic, and I think that counts for almost every pro rider, or most of them, because we have all the time mechanics around us. When we have a problem, we just give them the bike and they do 100% perfectly. At home, we get a super perfect bike, trains bike. We can give it back after 1 year, so mostly it's still fine. So actually, we never have a real chance to repair something.
Very good. Wesley asked me to ask you the question about the sandpaper on the saddle. Whose idea was this? To put the sandpaper on the saddle for the time trial?
Was mine idea, because I always had a problem right from the first year pros that I always slipped to the front, to the peak of the saddle. And then too much pressure were on my legs, sorry. Yeah. And then we tried some different things, some solutions for it, and actually we end up with sandpaper, because this is so sticky that you don't slip forward anymore. On the other hand, I destroy on every race one TT suit, so it's also expensive gadget, but I think it's worth it, and I think I almost I won every TT World Champion title with the sandpaper on my saddle, so I think it's a good thing for me. Yeah.
Very good. And do you have any? Are you superstitious, or you have any ritual that you prepare yourself? You put the race number on in a certain way, or when you have a time trial, is there some things you always do when you come to the race that you know, okay, this has worked last time? Is there something you have, maybe something you wear a bracelet or anything like this?
No, it's nothing I wear or I say or I think, but for sure I always do the same ritual before a TT. So normally I always have like let's say 5-6 hours before the race, I have breakfast, and I always want to see the parcours 1 or 2 times always, so that I'm finished around 4 hours before the race. Then I always have the same meal with rice and honey. Then I always start 1 hour before the TT to warm up. I always have the same program with 1 or 2 times 5 minutes hard intervals in the warm-up, and then I always stop, for example, 15 minutes before the race to get dressed for the TT. So these are always the same rhythms, and these rhythms also make me stronger, because I know them. I can do it actually automatically, and normally I know when I do this, I'm really prepared 100% for the race, and then I'm ready.
Very good. If you think about cycling now in 2020, 2021, and you could say you wanted to change anything, how the season works, would you maybe have a rather longer season, a shorter season? Would you think like they should change the Tour de France, make the stages a bit longer, shorter? Is there anything, if you could change something in cycling today, would there be anything you would say that they should change and make it a little different for the riders to make it more interesting for them?
Yeah, there are two things I would definitely change. One thing is really important. I would try to make races more safe, because I still see issues in every race, and we fight for that already years. Some organizers are listening, some are not, and actually we see the same problem since I'm now 13 years pro, so I see it already a long time. Step by step it's getting better, but still big issues to be solved. This is one thing, and if I could give one advice to the organizers, I would say let's make the races shorter. Because I have the feeling when the races are shorter, breakaways have a better chance, the race is more active, you can try something. I mean, on a stage race with 220 Ks flat, maybe headwind, you never have a chance. So you wait till the last 15K and then the action starts. But that's actually boring. It's not really worth to switch on the TV already 5 hours before the finish. But if you make it really short, like we saw maybe last year in the Tour de France, 2-3 hours race, it's already nice to see the rider standing on the start line and then seeing the fight from the start. So I think that would be one advice I would give to the organizers.
Very good. I wanted to go back to you said when you do the warm-up and you had a hard interval, can you give us some average numbers? So because now people sitting on the indoor trainer and they know how it feels like. So if you have a hard interval in a time trial to warm up, what are the numbers you're looking at?
Yeah, normally it's always, I start a bit more easy, let's say with 2 minutes 350. I also have to say the numbers always feel harder on the home trainer than outside. I think everybody on the home trainer knows that the 350 on the home trainer are not the same like outside, at least for me. And then I increase it, and I go up to 450, and then maybe I do the last half minute all out sprint that where I end up on I don't know 800 watts for the peak. So maybe I've average of 400, I would say.
Very cool. Good. That's good numbers. I want to remind everyone you can send in questions while you have the chat box, and send it in, and we will get the questions to Tony. We prepared some, we call them burning questions, and we just want to do quickly, I give you 2 options and you tell me what is your answer.
Okay.
Socks, long or short?
Short.
Chamois cream, yes or no?
Yes, for sure.
Weather, warm or cold?
Cold.
Steak or pasta?
Steak.
Gel or bar?
Nutrition?
A bar.
Bar.
The wind is your friend or your enemy?
Depends on the direction.
Okay, very good. Tire pressure, high or low?
Low.
And racing, time trial or racing in a peloton? Okay, question answered. Okay. Cars, Formula 1 or Panzerwagen?
Panzerwagen.
And if you're using Swift, is it group or alone?
I have to be honest, I never used Swift, but I will start in the next days or weeks because the team is competing now on Swift quite often, and I also want to be partner of it. Even I can go outside. So I think you have to ask me in 2 weeks because I have no experience.
Okay, now maybe that's something new coming up. I think this whole esports and obviously now indoors, we saw other teams already racing, and I think it's going to be quite interesting to interact with people there. Yeah, are you using a mountain bike or gravel bike around area, or are you mostly on the racing bike?
I have to say I have a mountain bike, but I'm 99% really on the road bike. But actually, if I would be a bit more motivated for it, it would be a good thing to be more on the gravel bike or on the cross bike. because I think it's a really good thing for controlling the bike. But yeah, actually, I also have to say the off season is so short that we really also have to be concentrated for the road bike. But for sure, off road is also really nice.
Very good. I just have one question here. Do you lose weight during the Grand Tour? And how difficult is it for you to make the weight or keep the weight off during the off season, or are you quite strict? This is from Charles.
I have to say, now in the last years, I'm quite stable, because I have my experience now, what works for me and what not, and what I can do also in off season when I don't ride my bike. So maybe I gain like 3-4 kilos, but I would say after 2 months, it's also 2 months of training, it's also gone again. For me, it's still difficult to hold the weight in the Grand Tours. Mostly, I really gain also weight in the Grand Tours because you eat a lot, and mostly you eat because you're afraid you're not eating enough. Yeah. So mostly I come out from the Grand Tours with maybe, let's say, 2 kilos. Too much, but this is also always a question if it's water in the legs or if it's really fat. I hear it from a lot of riders that they are gaining weight, but after 2 weeks it's also gone again. So it's always a question if it's really fat or water.
Very good. Mark is asking, is it easy for you to get out and stay motivated to get out for training every day? What's an average training week for you approximately? How many kilometers?
At the moment, I have to count 24 hours, I would say, around 24 hours. I reduced it a bit. Normally, I train 3 times and then make 1 day off. So 3 days training in a row and then 1 day off. And now in this period, I reduced it a bit. I went down to 2 days training and 1 day off. So it's always 2 days getting motivated, and then you have already 1 day off day, or an easy day. So it's, for me, it's quite easy to stay motivated, I have to say, because I know that I have the privilege to go outside, to train outside, to have the nice weather. I see all the other guys in Spain, in Italy, now in Dubai. Mm-hmm. You have to stay inside, go on the rollers, and this is so much harder for motivation. So I take this chance right now and go outside and I'm fully motivated.
Okay, and a bit of a technical question from Barney Simpson. He said, what's the ideal cadence in a time trial? Where do you try to keep your cadence?
I never watch on the cadence. It's just by feeling, but when I analyze it afterwards, I would say it's quite high. For me, it's quite high. It's around 95, 100. Quite high.
And just keep it at 400 watts?
Yeah, for me a bit more. I mean, it depends on the TT, but for me it's more or less 430, I would say.
Very good. I have a few more hot seat questions for you before we let you go. If you're in a karaoke bar, would you sing rock or pop? What's your song in the karaoke bar?
I never sing in the karaoke bar, but if I would choose, probably rock, because then you don't hear my voice so much.
Very good. Is it you go for a party or you rather stay home?
Mostly I stay home. I'm not the party guy.
And you're coffee or tea guy?
Coffee for sure.
Holidays, is it mountain or beach?
Mountain.
And if you watch a movie, is it comedies or thriller?
Thriller.
Very good. And my wife wants to know, jeans or suit?
Jeans.
Jeans.
For sure.
And the shower, is it hot or cold?
Middle.
Very good.
In German, you say lauwarm.
Okay, very good. One last question I have. It's Tony Martin 2020 would tell Tony Martin 2008. What would be something you would have wished you would have known when you started your career as a pro rider? Any tips for yourself a couple of years back?
Well, for sure, there are a few would be for sure be a bit more relaxed. Don't be too strict because sometimes you also or often you get better in breaks and not always training. What I say, I'm really ambitious, and I always try to give my best, and sometimes it's too good and I give too much. So I would say try to be a bit more relaxed. And yeah, for sure, in the last years we get a lot of knowledge about new training methods. Yeah, the way we have to prepare races, and if I would know things what I know now, I think I would be even a better rider already in 2008, 2009.
Very good. I have one more question from Edric Nelson. Edric Nelson, Kate, you had this crash in September in the Vuelta. How long does it take you to recover from such a fall? How many days after you get back on the bike?
I have to say it was really one of the hardest crashes in my career because I fall on my head, and I would say I burned my head on the road, so it was quite painful. But I wasn't so many days off the bike because I had to prepare the World Championships, I would say 2 weeks later. So I think I was already 3 or 4 days later on the bike and was also participating in the World Championships, but I still had a lot of pain, and I still was really scared taking risk in the corners. And I think still in my first race now in 2020 in the UAE Tour, I was still a bit scared. So sometimes it takes really a while, to get in a normal mood again. And I was also curious how it would be, for example, in Tirreno Adriatico, but it was canceled, so I didn't have the chance to participate there. But I think now I'm really healed from the crash, and I'm looking forward now to the next races.
Very good. And you heard the Tour de France, I think today they had announced they're gonna delay it, I think, until August.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's good.
Yeah.
There's a question from one of the listeners as well.
But it's also just an information that I got from the news. They say now it will be at the end of August, so two months delay. I think it doesn't matter when it would start. If it still starts in 2020, it will be a big achievement and will be really, really important for all the professional teams because it's the most important races for us, and it would be a big benefit for the whole scene.
Super. There was one question. What's the longest distance you've ridden on a bike in one day?
Was in Livigno in altitude training when I missed a few ways, and then I had to take some extra mountains to climb some extra mountain. It was still in under 23, and it was 9.5 hours. I can't tell you the distance, but it was 9.5 hours on the bike, and this was my longest day on the bike. But still, I enjoyed it, and is a day that I always remember.
What's your thought on disc brakes or rim brakes? Is Richard Tangling asking.
I have to say I'm a bit old school. I'm still on rim brake. I tried it 2 years ago. I tried the disc brake. I think when it works, it's nice, but for a hobby or amateur rider at home, I think it's not so easy always. To make the service for it. You always have to go to the shop to do it. For you, it's nice. But I think it's still nice for a rider also when you can adjust things on your own. And I see it a bit critical, but for sure it's already in the scene, and I think it will also take over.
Very good. Tony, I have to say thank you very much for taking the time. And I'm really, really excited to see you in August, hopefully. And I think you have a real contender to win the Tour. I think to win some stages in the sprint, and obviously you have Primož Roglič as well, a clear contender for the yellow jersey. So I'm really excited to see you showing that Panzerwagen can lead the team. So again, thanks for your time, and I hope your family is safe in these times, and looking forward to see you next year in Dubai.
Would be nice. Yeah, thank you. It was a pleasure. I hope you also have a good time in Dubai and that the quarantine goes quickly away and then you can join the bike ride in the desert again.
Thank you very much, Tony. Yes.
Yeah,
And I have a nice surprise for everyone listening. I asked Marcel Kittel if he would come on, and we have Marcel Kittel on Friday talking about his career, and I think it's going to be another great talk. So Tony, thanks again, and you can leave us a comment if you like in Google reviews and so on. So let us know how you like and what else we can ask in the future. Thank you, Tony. Yeah, have a good evening. Thank you. Bye bye.